You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, we got a big update on the Steelers, and this is rather interesting. Because, and I did not know this came out after I shot the Robert Saleh video this morning. I did not know that Mike McCarthy pulled his name out of the Titans' head coaching potentials yesterday. So it sounds to me like, and I like the Robert Saleh hire, but it sounds to me like once Mike McCarthy yanked his name out, the Titans hired Robert Saleh. And for Mike McCarthy, because evidently he's withdrawn from all other coaching opportunities. He's a Pittsburgh Steelers native. His record, we've talked about this, talked about it earlier in the Browns video. Nearly identical to John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, and Sean Payton. Now, let's just put it out there. We know that Mike McCarthy knows how to coach a national branded National Football League team. When you've been the coach of the Packers and the Cowboys, you know how it's done. You know the score. Frankly, I know a lot of people shit on McCarthy. I think winning 12 games in a row a season under Jerry Jones is kind of a remarkable feat, frankly. And I know Dak Prescott looked awfully good under Mike McCarthy. And of course, a lot of people are drawing the angle that Aaron Rodgers might want to run it back with his old Green Bay coach. Now, we all acknowledge it wasn't great there between the two at the end. But nonetheless, Aaron Rodgers might feel sentimental over the idea of playing under McCarthy, running it back. He won 2 MVPs. I mean, nobody's expecting him to do that. But he certainly would, come right back in knowing the offense better than the one he just got through running with Arthur Smith. There's word over the weekends that the Steelers are lining up an interview with Mike McCarthy for their head coaching job. It appears they found a time to meet this week. Tom Pelissero of NFL Media reports that McCarthy and the Steelers will meet on Wednesday. McCarthy was out of the league in 2025 after parting with the Cowboys at the end of the 2024 season. Keep in mind something. It was an actual mutual parting of the ways between Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy. The Cowboys were going to keep McCarthy, but he wanted an additional year on his contract than the year that the Cowboys were willing to offer him. So when the Cowboys wouldn't give him an additional year at the back end of the contract, McCarthy said, "No, I'm out." Or there's a world where Mike McCarthy's still the Cowboys coach right now. So this is an interesting portion of this. Tom Pelissero, NFL insider, broke this part. Super Bowl winning coach Mike McCarthy will interview with the Wednesday, tomorrow, with the Steelers. McCarthy was a candidate for the Titans before withdrawing Monday morning. He withdrew his name yesterday morning and has turned down all other opportunities, aka inquiries. He's focused on Pittsburgh, where he's considered a strong candidate. He's got a connection with Omar Khan, by the way. All right. Now, I'm sitting here listening to Cleveland radio right now, and Tony Grossi came out this morning and said there's a movement across the league to NFL owners giving the power back to their general managers. That's baffling. That's a terrible idea. I can't believe that's a thing right now. When he said that, I like to fell out of my chair. Like, really? Do you know how much more important a great head coach is than a damn general manager? But that's the focus. See, it's the general manager's always up in the booth alongside the owner. They've all rubbed elbows and become best friends with the owners. That's how a clown like Chris Greer stays 18 years or whatever it is with the Dolphins. That's why I said if you fire a coach, I'm firing the general manager. And they're coming in together. All right. It's possible that Rodgers might want to run it back. Would the Steelers want Rodgers back? Many teammates would be happy if the quarterback decided to run it back, and others in the organization would be open to a second season. However, the new head coach will have significant say, as the Steelers always allowed the head coach to be the leading voice in personnel moves. That's not what I've heard. Now, Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers, that was his decision. But there were a lot of moves there Mike Tomlin didn't make. Rodgers still has a fastball and the experience to get the offense into the best play. However, the mobility that was once a strength has noticeably declined with age. His deep ball was inconsistent throughout the year. He finished 26th in EPA per dropback and 14th in passer rating. He played some excellent games like against the Ravens in Week 14 and Week 18. He also experienced some of his worst games of his career, including the Chargers in Week 10. And it goes on to break down his games against the best defenses in the league. What's hilarious about this is he finished in the top 10 fewest yards allowed. And of course, all these good defense, Titans, Vikings, Chargers, Seahawks, Patriots, against all other teams, 17 touchdowns, 2 picks. Well, the fact is, most quarterbacks in the league, when they face a top 10 defense, most of the quarterbacks in the league don't look good. Even some of the best ones don't look good. So I kind of hate that God, EPA and all this crap. All right. People are just, the eye test, people are out on. McCarthy, 174 and 112, a 608 winning percentage. He's 11-11 in the playoffs. Of course, he was a Super Bowl champion as well. Now, you got Steelers media out there saying that, yes, there's the thought of hiring a young head coach and trying to make McCarthy your offensive coordinator and Brian Flores your defensive coordinator. What? I mean, maybe, okay. I mean, maybe that happens, but I saw that was like, can't either one of the, I mean, McCarthy really is pulling out of head coaching jobs to take an OC job? I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I mean, Arizona, Raider, I mean, come on. Brian Flores, he is probably the other guy for this job. I mean, really? He could be the Ravens' next head coach. Or maybe he merges with the Bills. But I don't know. I'll believe that. I'll believe it when I see that. And that is a stretch to me. The idea of getting 2 home run guys that are getting, look, McCarthy was getting heat around being a head coach. And so's Flores. They're both going to pull back and just decide to be DCs and OCs. I don't know about that. That smells bullshittery to me. I may be wrong. I may be completely wrong. I may be shocked. Maybe they could pull that off. I mean, Chris Shula and those 2 guys are going to answer to Shula. Nate Shieldhouse. And these 2 guys are, I don't know. I don't think I buy that shit. McCarthy, Pittsburgh native. It just, extensive experience with two national branded franchises like the Steelers and the Cowboys and Packers. It just makes sense. It does. I know I've seen Steeler fan base, by the way, split on this. I looked on Twitter a few minutes ago. When I did the video the other day, I told you, I said my son would probably hate this hiring. He's a lifelong Steelers fan, and I love the hiring. I'm not a Steelers fan, but I still love the hiring. I think Mike McCarthy should be a coach somewhere. But, I mean, who else you going to Grant Udinski for the Steelers? Boy, that's an awfully big job. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.